For the first time in history, India's budget was presented on a Sunday, and it's called Kartavya or Duty Budget. Instead of its pre-election gifts, the government focused on playing the long game. The big headline is massive 53.5 lakh crore rupees that the government plans to spend this year. To put that in perspective, they're putting 12.2 lakh crore rupees specifically into building big stuff. Think new high-speed trains, massive ports and better roads. This is great for the economy because every rupee spent on building things creates more jobs and wealth down the line. Even with all the spending, they have been careful not to overborrow, keeping the country's overspending gap or the fiscal deficit at a disciplined 4.3%. And when it's come to your or mine wallet, the biggest change is that the 65-year-old Income Tax Act is now officially being retired. Starting in April, the new Income Tax Act of 2025 takes over. While it sounds like a big change, there's not much change. The actual tax rates haven't moved this year. The government's goal was simply to make the law easier to read and follow by cutting down unnecessary rules. For the average worker, the sweet spot remains the same. If you earn up to 12.75 lakh rupees, if you are salaried, you still won't have to pay any income tax, thanks to special rebates and the standard deduction. There's also a nice win for travelers. If you are booking a trip abroad, the upfront tax on your tour package is slashed from 5% to just 2%. Now, moving to the future of Made in India. The focus is now on high-tech sovereignty. The government is betting big on two things: microchips and medicine. They have set aside 40,000 crore rupees to make sure India becomes a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing. They have also launched a project called Biopharma Shakti with an outlay of 10,000 crore rupees to help us make our own life-saving drugs. And in support of all of this, they are also opening up rare earth corridors in states like Odisha and Tamil Nadu to mine the specific minerals needed for batteries and gadgets. They even made cancer treatment more affordable by removing import taxes on 17 life-saving medicines. However, while the government was celebrating a stable budget, the stock market had a very different reaction. It was Black Sunday for investors. As soon as the finance minister finished her speech, the market took a massive dip. The Sensex crashed by over 1,500 points and the Nifty dropped by nearly 500 points, wiping out almost 10 lakh crore rupees in investor wealth in one single afternoon. The reason for this mini crash was a surprise hike in the Securities Transaction Tax or STT. Think of STT as the fee the government charges every time you trade in the stock market. The tax on trading futures more than doubled, jumping from 0.02% to 0.05%, and the tax on options jumped to 0.15%. The government's goal is to discourage risky, fast-paced gambling in the markets and encourage long-term investing instead. For traders and brokers, it was a painful blow that sent the market into a tailspin. In short, Budget 2026 is a no-nonsense. It prioritizes infrastructure, strategic industries, and long-term capacity building, even if that means discomfort in the markets today. It's a budget that chooses stability over sentiment, and yet the fine print tells an even sharper story. This is also a budget of compliance and consequences. Missing tax audit deadlines now comes at a steep cost. 1 day delay can attract 75,000 penalty, with a 1 month delay can escalate to 1.5 lakh. The message is unambiguous: trust-based taxation exists, but indiscipline will be expensive. Healthcare sees one of the strongest structural pushes in years. Allocation stands at 1,04,599 crore rupees, about 1.9% of the GDP. Emergency and trauma care centers will be strengthened across district hospitals. Mental health infrastructure gets a boost with National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences 2.0 planned in North India. 7 additional rare diseases will qualify for duty-free personal imports. This is not headline welfare, it's investment in human capital. Industry signals are equally clear. Foreign cloud providers using Indian data centers will get tax holiday. Global digital firms are encouraged to operate through Indian reseller entities. Electronics manufacturing will receive increased support in financial year 2027. A 10,000 crore SME growth fund has been proposed. On the macro front, discipline remains central. Capital expenditure stays elevated. Debt to GDP is projected to fall to 55.6%. States will receive 1.4 lakh crore rupees as tax devolution. Gross market borrowings are estimated 17.2 lakh crore. A National Institute of Hospitality will be set up. 10,000 tourist guides will be trained. Content labs in 15,000 schools. A new Institute of Design in Eastern India. 5 university townships near logistic corridors. A digital knowledge grid for researchers. Defense spending underscores strategic intent with 7.8 53.85 lakh crore allocated for 2026 and 27. Capital outlay now stands at 2.1 lakh crore with significant allocations for airports, aero engines, and naval expansions. Civil aviation receives 4,699 crore with the Udan scheme boosted. Logistics will be strengthened through a new freight corridor. This budget is not asking to be light, it is asking to be taken seriously. The real question now is not just about numbers. Is this the discipline required to turn India into a stable, high-tech global power? Or is this the cost of that discipline being passed on to ordinary investors and taxpayers? Tell us what you think in the comments below.